Electrolytes are already one of the biggest scams of the 21st century, but now they've reached a whole new level thanks to this man, Cole Palmer. And if you don't know who Cole Palmer is, he's a footballer who's famous for three things. He's quite good at kicking a football, he's a little bit slow on the uptake.
What?
And he does his trademark ice cold celebration whenever he scores a goal. And if there's one thing you can count on in this great year 2026, it's that if anything is remotely popular, you know what that means. Companies can use it to squeeze more money out of you. So I just wanted to yap about this a little bit because it's one of the more stupid things I've seen in a while. This company, GoPuff, who call themselves the future of shopping and who love themselves a ChatGPT M- on their website, they have teamed up with Cole Palmer to create a product called Cold, which is ice cubes infused with electrolytes. Now this pisses me off on so many levels, but the biggest issue here, by far, is that these ice cubes are, at best, just ice, and at worst could actively harm you. So let's break it down and then look at how you can manage your electrolytes properly for a lot less money. So why do we need electrolytes? For the purposes of this, we can kind of use electrolytes and sodium interchangeably. There are a few different minerals that make up electrolytes, but sodium does most of the heavy lifting. And sodium does a bunch of stuff in the body, which is especially important if you do a lot of exercise. It maintains your blood plasma, so it helps regulate the balance of fluid in your blood, because ideally you don't want your blood to be too thin and watery, but you also don't want it to be super viscous and really hard for your heart to pump around your body. It's kind of like when you mix squash and water. You've got the concentrated bit and you've got the water, and you need that balance to be just right. Another super important job that sodium has is it helps get energy in the form of glucose to your muscle cells. And this is one of the reasons why a lot of marathon runners can hit the wall, even if they're getting enough carbs in. If your sodium concentration has dropped too low, you don't have enough sodium to facilitate getting the glucose into your muscles, and you'll hit the wall anyway. And one more absolutely key role that sodium plays is you need it for the electrical impulses that your body sends to make your muscles contract. And that's why when you're running low on sodium, that can often lead to muscle cramping, particularly in half marathons, or longer endurance events. But here's the important thing, and I want you to keep this in mind because it's the main reason why so many companies are just pushing all of these electrolyte supplements onto us. Clearly, sodium is very important to keep a lot of your bodily functions running smoothly, and the downsides of having a very low sodium concentration could be pretty severe. But sodium is also very cheap to manufacture. It is basically just flavored salt in all these supplements. So it's so easy for companies to just talk about all of the negative impacts of not getting enough sodium and not getting enough electrolytes that they can push these products onto you at an absolutely massive markup, and then you end up with this bullshit. So let's dig a little bit deeper into this bullshit specifically. Cold pebble ice with electrolytes, £2.50 for a 2 kilo bag. And for reference, a bag of normal ice cubes in Tesco in the UK would probably set you back about £1.50. So we're looking at a 60 to 70% markup on regular ice cubes. Nice description here. Cole Palmer and GoPuff are redefining ice with the world's first electrolyte ice. Yeah, there's a reason why it's the world's first electrolyte ice, Cole, because the whole concept doesn't fucking work. Crafted from purified water and infused with electrolytes, every cube is designed with Cole's signature precision to deliver a colder, cleaner chill and elevate every sip. Clean structure, smooth edges, smarter hydration. Not just ice, a new standard. Well, if that isn't the most ChatGPT sounding description I have ever heard. But look, I'm not just here to shit on this product. I mean, I am, but let's go through why the numbers just don't stack up. Firstly, you don't need to take an electrolyte supplement every single day. If you're working out very hard regularly in hot weather for an hour and a half, 2 hours plus, yes, that's when you need to start topping up with electrolytes. If you're training for marathons or ultras and your long runs are frequently going past 2 hours, yeah, sure, add some electrolytes in to make sure that you're replacing what you're losing through sweat. But for day-to-day life and training, it's just not necessary. But if you are one of those people and you're concerned about your electrolyte intake, as a general rule, the American College of Sports Medicine recommends about 300 to 600 milligrams per hour during exercise, along with around 600 milliliters to a litre of water per hour. So if we say that you're doing a lot of hard exercise, you're going to top up with about a litre of water per hour, and with that litre of water, you want 300 to 600 milligrams of sodium. So how much sodium do we suppose that these cold electrolyte ice cubes have in them? Bearing in mind, they're being marketed as electrolyte ice cubes, and they're tied to a professional footballer. So the implication is that you're getting extra electrolytes, which is going to help you in sports in some capacity. So if we take a quick look at the nutritional description on the website here, per serving, 227 grams, which is 227 milliliters, less than 5 milligrams. So if we multiply that up by 4 to get ourselves to close to a litre, less than 20 milligrams of sodium per litre. And let's be clear, 20 milligrams of sodium per litre would have been an insult because it's a fraction of what you need, but this is very specifically less than 20 milligrams. So we don't know how much sodium is in these. It could be 19.9 milligrams, it could be 0.0001 milligrams of sodium. We don't know, and nothing in their advertising tells us. So let's call this for what it is. It is a complete scam. Do not buy these ice cubes. They will, unless you just want ice with Cole Palmer's name on, fine. But the electrolyte part of it is going to do nothing for you. And this is the problem with marketing at the moment, is people just find these buzzwords like electrolytes and they just slap it on anything, preferably tie it to some kind of influencer or professional athlete or some kind of celebrity, and then people are just going to buy it. And it is absolutely nothing. It's water with maybe a little bit of salt in. You can even see the ingredients on their webpage. You are buying very, very expensive water because it's got a footballer's name on it. I mean, what are we doing? And also, just to rub salt in the wound, pun not intended, I did the maths on this. Let's charitably assume that 5 milligrams of sodium is in one serving, 227 ml. That meant if you were running a marathon and you needed the bare minimum of the ACSM recommendation, so 300 milligrams of sodium, to get 300 milligrams of sodium from these ice cubes, obviously no one is ever going to do that, but you would need almost 14 litres of water per hour. And because electrolytes is just a balance between sodium and water in your bloodstream, if you're taking on 300 milligrams of sodium, but you're adding 14 litres of water, not only are you going to go bankrupt from buying these ice cubes, you're going to fucking drown. How can you advertise something that's going to increase your electrolytes, but also massively outstrip it in the amount of water that you're getting? It's literally a reverse electrolyte. Now we're going to move on to how to actually get proper electrolytes in if you are training hard and you do need them in a sec. But first, I just want to give you a quick PSA on influencer and celebrity products in general. You can't go anywhere nowadays without someone trying to sell you something and people just finding new ways to put adverts in everything, right? Whether it's an influencer who's sending you links to go and buy one of their products with an affiliate link, or a podcast which is telling you to buy AG1 every 10 minutes. We'll get onto that in a sec. There's a reason why things like greens powders and electrolytes are so common in influencer marketing. And that is because they're so cheap to manufacture and they're being sold at such a high markup that the influencer or the person that's recommending these products is taking up to 30% of the sale price as their commission. These companies are giving these podcasters and influencers such a big cut, which is coming out of your pocket. That is why they're being so heavily pushed. So as a general rule, if you see something keep popping up on Instagram and keep coming up on podcasts, do not buy it because it is likely very overpriced and you're just paying through the nose for something that you could get far cheaper with a lot less hype somewhere else. But anyway, what are some actually useful sources of electrolytes that will get you through your training? Okay, so now that I've had my little rant, let's take a look at some proper sources of electrolytes that you can use to make sure that you're not running low whilst training in the heat of summer. There are so many ways to get your electrolytes in, but these are a few of my favourite ones. So first up, good old Lucozade Sport. It tastes good, it's convenient, you can carry it easily, and I believe in a 500ml bottle, we should have around 250 milligrams of sodium. There you go, so you can see the ingredients list here. Per 100ml, 50 milligrams of sodium. So in one 500ml bottle, that's 250 milligrams. So if you had one of those drinks on a long run per hour, then you'd be pretty good. Or if you're already going out on your long runs and you're already taking gels, then what you could do is kill two birds with one stone and grab a gel that also has electrolytes in it already. These high five ones, I mean, they're fairly inexpensive. These ones are 17 quid for a box. And what you can see, again, if we scroll down to the ingredients list, they kind of bury it in the description sometimes, which is a bit annoying, but you can always just Control F for the webpage for sodium. But you can see here that one gel gives you 85 milligrams of sodium, along with the other essential electrolytes. So bonus there. Obviously 85, not as much, but if you're going to be taking gels relatively regularly anyway, especially if they've got 23 grams of carbs, you will probably end up hitting that 300 milligrams of sodium pretty quickly anyway. Now, if you're someone who wants to take all of the thinking out of it and you just want to go for the most convenient option possible, then what you could do is Precision Hydration do these, which is basically just little tablet capsules. One capsule has 250 milligrams of sodium. So fun fact, I actually ran my PB marathon when I ran 326. I used these exact ones. Every hour, I would just take one of them with one of the bottles of water that I was carrying around at the time. And it just meant I didn't really have to worry about it. I knew that by taking it, especially from the second half of the race onwards, I wasn't going to cramp, I wasn't going to hit the wall, I wasn't going to run into any sodium related issues, and I just didn't have to think. Or if you don't want those, but you also don't want it in your gels, maybe you're a fan of the drinks, but you don't want Lucozade Sport, then you could go for something, and this is massively popular with marathon runners and ultra runners, is something like Tailwind. And so it's essentially just a carb and electrolyte powder that you mix up with water, and then it gives you all of the energy you need, all of the electrolytes, and you can adjust the serving size to really dial in what your needs are for carbs and sodium, etc. We'll scroll down to see the nutrition facts here. So you can see here in one serving, we're looking at 310 milligrams of sodium. And hopefully this kind of reinforces the idea that less than 5 milligrams on these electrolyte ice cubes, so it's not even worth mentioning. It's not going to move the needle in any way whatsoever, and it's not going to contribute to your overall health or fitness. The only reason why they've put that on there is so that they can slap electrolyte on the front of the packet to try and make people buy it because it's a buzzword. That is literally it. Oh, and also one thing we shouldn't forget in terms of sodium sources is you could always just get it from real food instead. You don't need gels or tablets or drinks if you don't want to. You could have salted pretzels, or I know a lot of ultra runners who use potatoes and they roll them in salt and put them in little bags. Obviously foods like that is less convenient because trying to carry them around and eat them whilst you're running. If you're going for a time, maybe not so much. That's why we use gels and drinks, because it's just easy and convenient. But if that's not an issue for you, then just go for food instead. There are so many different options, so it really is just finding the right thing for you. There's no right answer here. There is, however, one wrong answer, and that is fucking ice cubes. Do not buy these ice cubes. They are a symbol of everything that is wrong with this advertising economy that we're in right now, with people just trying to shove unnecessary shit down your throats. So hopefully I've made my position pretty clear on this. Fuck GoPuff, fuck Cole Palmer, although to be honest, I doubt he even knows that this thing exists. He's probably just signed something, or his team have just allowed it to, and he's just taken some money for it. But that doesn't make it any better. Anyway, this was a slightly different kind of video to normal. I mean, I've tried to give you some useful information as well, but this was mostly just because I wanted to rant about something that annoyed me. So if you want to see more videos like this, where we just kind of go a bit more unscripted and talk about general running stuff, the good and the bad, then let me know in the comments, and I'll see you in the next one.